Okay, our next speaker is Michael Hitchcock. I'm very excited to listen to Michael. I had a brief chat to him earlier, so he's got some good things to say. He launched his real estate career in the early 1990s as an agent, progressing to sales manager and coach for 2 national real estate franchise groups. There again, this is real experience that's talking, this is not theory. His innovative coaching methods integrate the latest findings in neuroscience and psychology, turning them into powerful, easy to understand sales tools. I was hoping that would be because neuroscience and psychology starts getting complicated. In his short but impactful talk, you will learn powerful brain-based strategies to secure more listing appointments quicker than you ever thought possible. So welcome, Michael.
Thank you very much, and thanks to Brad and the team for inviting me. I'm really super excited to chat to you. My passion has been, how do we deal with human beings? How do we connect with them? How do we have better conversations? And particularly when we cold call. And I'm sure most of you have experienced, as I have, and as I was taught, when we're doing a cold call. I think you'd agree we all sound exactly the same. Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. This is Michael from XYZ Company. Do you have a few minutes to chat? And what happens when we do that, we sound needy. And I feel as agents, we are actually should have the mindset that that person should be grateful that we're calling them because we actually have the solution to the problem they have. But our mindset often is one of parent-child. And it's kind of like we're begging for the business. So point number 1, we need to understand that that seller or buyer needs to know in a tactful way that whether we get the business or not is immaterial. What's important is, are we a fit for each other? And I often hear agents say they don't want to upset the seller because they know if somebody likes you, we do business with people we like. But liking is good, but it's not the most important thing. The most important thing is trust. If you have to go to a heart surgeon to go and get an operation, do you have to like the surgeon? You know, you're not there to build friends. You're there to get the best surgeon. So if that surgeon has a terrible bedside manner, but everyone's told you they're the best, you trust that surgeon. And we need to do that as real estate agents. We need to not sound needy. We need to be in control. But most importantly, we need to give the seller the feeling, the perception that they are in control. So we're going to talk a little bit about the brain science. We have, depending on which neuroscientist you speak to, 80 to 100 billion cells in our brain. Those cells can each make about 25,000 connections with other cells. And that's excluding cells called glial cells, which outnumber those cells by 3 to 1. So there's a lot going on here. Now, we can't use every brain cell. It would be too much. So the brain has a very efficient way of keeping track, of guiding things. And so what the brain does is the brain is a pattern-seeking machine. It looks for patterns. Our ancestors, if there was a bit of a rustle in the bushes, it could either be the wind or it could be a woolly mammoth that's going to eat us. So if you thought it was the wind and you were wrong, you were taken out of the gene pool. And that was the end of you. So the brain defaulted to every rustle in the bush is a woolly mammoth. And we still have that part of our brain today. We literally have 3 brains in one, and it's more a metaphor. Neuroscientists will go crazy if you say that. But we have our old reaction brain, our fight or flight. We then have an emotional brain that pumps out a chemical equal to each emotion we have. That's why when someone walks into the office and they're unhappy, you say, why the long face? Or as the lion said to the crocodile, why the long face? So the point is we project what we do. So your physiology follows your psychology. And when you speak into clients, they can pick up if we're needy. In fact, we have mirror neurons in our brain that connect with people on a subconscious level, and that's where we get what we call our gut feeling. I didn't get a good vibe from that agent. Well, if you have bad intention and you're not honest and ethical, they will pick that up. So I'm going to do a quick demonstration. You look like a wonderful crowd, and you're going to participate to show you how the brain actually works when a client is making a decision. So I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you guys, without thinking, to answer in unison and let me know. So, for example, if I say, what is the color of most clouds? Okay, I'm sure you guys can do better. What is the color of most clouds? White. Fantastic. How do you pronounce W-H-I-T-E? How? Bit louder. And what is the color of a bride's dress? And what do cows drink? No, they don't drink milk. So cows drink water, calves drink milk. Now, if I'd asked you that question outside before priming your brain, you would have said, Mike, it's a silly question. They drink water. But all your brain did is it looked at patterns. And so if the pattern in your brain is a negative one, it's going to connect with all the negativity. So you don't have control over what people do and say, but you do have control of the images you put in your mind because your brain reacts to those images. When people go on a presentation, they're nervous. They're not nervous because the seller's going to throw them out. They're nervous because of the pictures they're painting in their mind of what might happen, because maybe they feel that they might not be able to answer all the questions. So the brain's a pattern-seeking machine. What does this mean for us when we phone someone and we say, hello, Mr. Seller, do you have a few minutes to talk? I won't be long. I'll be out of your hair soon. The pattern in the brain says this is a salesperson. And the minute they know it's a salesperson, I'm sure most of you have actually had calls from, like I get them often, marketing people. And how do you know it's a marketing person? How are you? The weather's wonderful. It's all friendly. Stop doing that, because you're actually telling that person this is a salesperson. So what we want to do is what they call a pattern interrupt. We want to confuse the brain where the brain says, I haven't heard this before. Create a bit of curiosity. How do we do that? So simple. In December, I'd phoned about 130 principals along the coast to do some free training. I didn't phone them and say, this is who I am, here's my resume, and I'm doing some free training. I phoned them up. And the guy would say, hello, John speaking. I'd say, hi, John, thank you for taking my call. Is now a bad time to talk? Not is now a good time to talk. That's our default. We often say, is that a good time? We want to actually get a no answer instead of yes. But the no actually means yes. Why? Because to the brain, yes means fear. The more I say yes to this agent, you know the old story of tie downs, get a yes every time. Do you understand? Do you agree with that? Yes, another tie down. So, if we could agree on price, would you work with me? Yes, another tie down. The brain knows about that. They've heard it all before. We all know when an agent's using a close on us. And so psychologically, we have something called psychological reactance. We pull back. The minute a human being feels that our autonomy to make our own decision is taken away, the reactance goes up. And they say, no, sorry, it is an open listing, but I've got enough agents. I'll call you if I need your help. And so the idea is you want to actually be in that conversation for longer so you can get more information. You want to extend the call. And so here's how you would do it. You would use no-oriented questions. And a very good book I would encourage you all to read is by an ex-FBI agent in America called Chris Voss. Anyone read the book? Well done. You should all read it, called Never Split the Difference. And he talks a lot about that. He was one of the most successful hostage negotiators. He never asked for a yes. He got a no answer, which means yes. Now, obviously, when you're in the conversation, you can switch over to yes. But when it's a cold call, say, is now a bad time to call? Now, two things will happen. They'll say, well, yes, it is. And this is my experience from last December. Yes, it is, but what's this about? Can I call you back at 1 o'clock? I'm just going into a meeting. And they still gave me time to quickly hear because I created curiosity. I created a pattern interrupt. I'm not sure who this person is. Doesn't sound like a salesperson. But most of the agents, we use the same words. Now, Mr. Seller, my job is to sell your home at the highest price with the least hassle to you in the shortest time. And then you say next, and you're trying to find out who's different. But we all sound the same. So you want to actually be different. So the next question would be, no. So now I've got permission, and obviously we will comply with Poppy and ask their permission. But the point is, when I say to someone, is now a bad time, and they say no, they've given me effectively permission to talk to them. Obviously, later I'll ask them if I can contact them, if it's the first time. But that said, now I will speak to them. And instead of saying to them, I noticed your home hasn't been sold, and let me tell you about my team. We're the top team in the area. We sold 1 in 2 homes are sold by us. They're not interested. The brain is tuned to one radio station, WIFM. What's in it for me? When you talk about me, they switch off. You need to talk about them. And I was taught, when I started, to brag. I had my brag book. You actually show them your brag book, and you say to them, this is who we are, this is why you should choose us, and they're probably switching off. Instead of saying, there's a lot I can tell you about what we can do to help you, but first I'd like to know about your situation. You take a notepad out and you take notes. So the next question is, instead of asking them, if it hasn't sold, can I come over? Would it be a good idea? What you want to do is you want to close up front. How do you close up front? So by the time you get there, you don't have to close. So I'll give you an example where I phoned, and you can relate it to real estate, is I phoned them and said, hi, John, thank you for taking the call. And then you'd say, what's this about? I'd say, I normally get called into companies when the following things happen. Either the agents aren't canvassing, they aren't hitting target, they aren't motivated, etc., etc. Now, normally what we would say is, and I've done this for a lot of people, and I'd love to come and help you, and this is the pulling them towards us. What I'm suggesting is you want to push them away. You want to actually disqualify them a few times. So what would I say? I'd say, but I guess that none of that is relevant to you. And what do? Go, well, actually, no, some of it is. I mean, we're not hitting target every month. And then I would say to them, have you tried to fix it? And they would say, well, yeah, we've had some trainers in, and has it made a difference? Well, not really. And then I'd say, well, have you given up on fixing the problem? They'd say, well, no. So, and have you budgeted to sort the problem out? Now, here's the kicker. If you're speaking to someone who's selling their home and you want to make an appointment, instead of saying to them, I can help you. We've just sold 4 homes down the road. I've got plenty buyers. And they're not just buyers, they're cash buyers normally with agents. So hundreds of cash buyers. And the brain goes, I've heard that one before. Instead, what you say is, and I've used this, just recently got a sole mandate by using it. In fact, the person who came with me thought I was nuts. I had to kick her and say, just keep quiet, because they thought I was talking us out of the mandate. And I said, I don't know if I can help you. I've helped a lot of people like you, but I don't know if I can help you. I don't know your situation, and I don't know if we'd be a good fit. But, assuming I can, would it be a ridiculous idea for us to get together for 45 minutes to see if we are a fit? So what am I doing? I'm getting a no, because your brain's easy to say, well, this is not a ridiculous idea, it's actually a good idea. Rather than saying, do you think it would be a good idea, and you're wanting a yes, you want a no. So, do you think it'd be a ridiculous idea, Dave, if we came over just to see if we're a fit and see if I can help you? Now, what am I doing? I'm disqualifying them again. I'm giving them another chance and showing strength and letting them know I'm not needy. I don't really need this. But I'd like to come over and see if we are a fit. And so 90% of the time, the answer is no. Because our brain knows that no is safety and yes is not safety. When we get to say no, we keep our autonomy. It's your decision. It's just like when we produce a CMA, we never say this is the price. We say, Dave, I've presented all the details for you so that you can actually make an educated guess where you want to price your home. Now, obviously, I'm not going to allow them to do it, but I want them to have the perception of being in control, because then I lower the reactance, and when people's guard is down, they open up more. So the idea is, when they've said you can come over, you now say, can I ask you a favor? And let's use that. Can I ask you a favor, Dave? If in the conversation before the 45 minutes is up, you feel we're not a fit, can I ask you a favor? Just tell me no. Because I don't want a maybe. I want a yes or no. And you know what? I'll do the same for you, because I don't want to waste your time or my time. And they'll say, that's fine. And then I'll get their diary out, say, have you got diary, make a time. And then I'll use the old Columbo for the older people here and say, one last thing, Dave. Assuming we do find we're a fit, are you happy to take another 15 minutes so we can discuss the next steps? What are the next steps? Well, it's my exclusive mandate. So I'm closing up front. I know there's a budget. I know they have an issue. And we'll see in the 45 minutes if I can help them. So be disarmingly honest. Don't be scared to walk away. You will build trust a lot quicker than trying to pull them towards you, disqualify them. Not once, not twice, 3 or 4 times, push them away subtly so that they go, no, actually, I want to work with you. So I think I have 1 minute left. And so start communicating with the way the human brain works and have conversations. Don't have a pitch, have a conversation human to human. What are your issues with this work? And you'll find they'll open up more, they'll give you more information, and you will sign more listings. From those, you'll get more listing appointments, and they will lead to more soul mandates. So, thank you very much.